Our recording. Good morning, everybody. 30 November 2020, Authority Control Task List. With a simultaneous translation by Alicia Chen into Chinese. Why do we have the Authority Control Task List? Authority Control Task List has two main purposes. Number one, to tell the user how the authorities are being used in the institution. And number two, to alert the user if he needs to take action on the authority records. Alicia, go ahead. It's this slide right here you can translate.
我们基本上会有这样子一个功能的原因有两个，第一个就是我们希望能够告诉使用者说我们该如何去使用这个权威任务控制清单。然后另外一个原因是因为我们希望能够提醒我们使用者是不是要针对一些我们的权威做一些人力的就是要介入去做一些事情这样。Yoel, please.
Okay. First of all, let's talk about accessing the Authority Control Task List before we actually talk about what's in it. So the Authority Control Task List is accessed here in the Resources menu. I just clicked Resources here on the left. And then underneath Cataloging, we have Authority Control Task List. We click there and it opens up. And now, as you see, we're in the Authority Control Task List. Same thing here, Resources. We click Authority Control Task List, and the Authority Control Task List opens. So that's accessing. It's Resources, Cataloging, Authority Control Task List. Go ahead, Alicia.
我们在正式告知大家要如何使用之前，先告诉大家如何要去连到这个任务清单。所以就是Yoel现在看到这个画面，在资源底下的编目底下的权威任务控制清单就可以直接取得这个画面。Yoel, please.
Okay. Now, what does the Authority Control Task List include? First of all, we have two tabs here, Review and All. And then there's a lot of different report types. And we're going to talk about just some of these report types. And they're all already outlined in the online help. For example, if I come here and I click this link, it brings me to a list of all of the report types which are included in the Authority Control Task List with an explanation. So inside the PowerPoint, I did not put all of the explanations because all of the explanations are here. Each of these, for example, AUT record deleted, unlinked bib record, and bib heading found multiple matches, all of those you can see by yourselves inside the real Authority Control Task List. These are all of the different report types. Sometimes more will appear in some institutions than other institutions. We'll see why. And the explanations of them are here. Go ahead, Alicia.
接下来我们要谈的是说有哪些是包含在权威任务控制清单里面。那他刚刚给我们看Yoel, can you please stay here? 那我们先看他这个这个是所有包含的报告的类型。那每一个机构都可以看到自己所可以看到的报告类型，每一个机构看到的资料的内容也会略有不同。那这个是他刚刚透过他的投影片连接进来的一个网页连接，那投影片大家都可以去下载。Yoel, can you go back to the Alma screen?
Yes.
Thank you. 然后你在那个权威任务控制清单这个 Alma 的画面，他刚刚也有提到，你会有两个页签，一个是 review 就检视的部分，另外一个是全部的部分。那现在在这个报告类型，就是我们刚刚提到的，就是你的机构可以看到所有的报告类型，在这边都会有条列。我们没有在PowerPoint 上面显示所有的范例，但是刚刚那个网页连接，大家可以去看一下我们的 Online Help 都有详尽的说明。Yoel, please.
Thank you. Okay. So let's start looking at a few examples of this Authority Control Task List. Sorry about that. So We'll start, for example, with linking bib heading found no matching authority headings linked inventory. So we have linking bib heading found no matching AUT headings right here. And we'll click that and it'll open. It says bib headings found no matching AUT headings. So we can find that right here just to see what it means. It's this one here. It says this option references attempts to find a link in a heading between the bibliographic record and the authority record. So somebody cataloged a heading in a field which should find a match, and there is no match. Go ahead, Alicia, and tell them we're going to go more in depth if it's not clear yet, but go ahead.
OK， 所以我们接下来会开始看范例。那我们看到的第一个范例就是，Yoel, can you help me a little bit? I need the on my help page for explanation. Thank you. 我们现在要看的就是它现在标示的这个书目的标目，如果我们找不到连结的权威栏位。权威资料，比如说有一些资料，我们认为它应该要连接权威的资料，但是它却没有连到的话，我们会在这边做一个检视。那等一下后面会有更详尽的说明。Yoel, please.
Okay, so let's take a look at some examples here. Before we go look at a specific example here, we can filter via the facets on the left. We can also filter here by date, and we can filter by inventory type. For example, we might want only records that have physical inventory. We might want only records which are not linked to the community zone. I'm here on the bottom left. So let's start to do some facets and some filters. I'll say link to the community zone, no. So now the list will only give me records which are in my repository not linked to the community zone. And I'll come along here and choose a specific vocabulary. For example, I'll choose Library of Congress subject headings, LCSH. And for example, I'll choose only ones that are in field 650. And for example, I'll say I want those from the last 30 days. So now I have all headings that somebody cataloged, which are in a 650 field and should be linked to a Library of Congress subject heading, but are not linked. Go ahead, Alicia.
那在我们看特定的一个范例之前呢，他先展示了一下，就是我们在这边如何能够比较精准的找到我们现在想要处理的一些书目资料。比如说他刚刚说了，左边我们有后分类或分页的一个选项，那在中间的地方呢，你可以看到我们这些可以针对它的报告类型或者是馆藏类型等等去再做一次进行分类，或者是它的那个像他刚的例子，它用的是我们没有连到 community zone， 那它所使用的这个标题是用 LCSH， 那它选择的栏位是650段，那选择是过去30天之内的资料，那所以呢找出来的结果就是在这些所有的标目里面650段的标目里面没有连到LCSH 的都会被找出来。Yoel, please.
Okay, thank you. So let's take a look here. For example, here's one. It says, the title is Contemporary Historical Fiction. The heading is Exceptionalism in Literature. So I'll say edit here. And that's going to bring me to the bibliographic record in the metadata editor. And the specific field which we're checking will have a slightly different color. For example, if we scroll down here, we see this one is green. So we know which heading we're talking about. And we also see that it did not link. This, for example, linked, and this one linked, and these linked. This did not link. And the reason that it's got into the authority control task list as a Library of Congress subject heading, we filtered by LCSH Library of Congress subject heading, is because it has the 0 in position 2 of the indicator, And we all know, for example, if we go to the MARC authorities, MARC 21 bibliographic headings, we'll know that for field 650, the second indicator 0 means that it's a Library of Congress subject heading. So this should have linked to a Library of Congress subject heading and did not. Go ahead, Alicia.
那在我们刚刚看到这个范例的时候，它有它的题名，那最右方有一个书目标目的一个讯息。按右键之后点 Metadata Editor 之后，我们就可以进到现在这个画面。那进到这个画面之后，你会看到它在现在这个650段，它有帮它标示为绿色，绿色代表就是这就是我们需要处理的栏位。那你可以看到它前面并没有那个望远镜的标示符，代表它其实是并没有连接的。那我们怎么发现呢？就是因为在650段，它在第二个指示符上面写0，其实它应该要代表的是说，它其实应该要连到 LCSH 的一些资料，但是它却没有。Yoel, please.
Thank you. Okay, so now the institution has been alerted via the authority control task list that somebody cataloged this with a 0 and it's not really a Library of Congress subject heading. So they know exceptionalism in literature in this case is not a correct heading. So if we do F3 here, F3 will bring us the list of headings, looking in the Library of Congress subject headings. And we see here, there is no exceptionalism in literature. So maybe the institution will want to choose instead just exceptionalism here and say select, or maybe they need to look in literature and maybe there's a subheading in literature. If we say F3 here, and maybe they'll want to choose something from literature. In any case, and then they can say select. In any case, they've been alerted that exceptionalism in literature is not a correct example. Go ahead, Alicia.
那我们刚刚看到下一个动作就是说，其实 Alma 的目的是为了让大家有警示，说这个栏位你没有连到一个正确的 heading， 所以呢，或者是这个 heading 不对，所以在这个刚刚那个栏位有标示的那个地方，我们要按下一个动作就是要按 F3， 按 F3 之后呢，我们就开始查，也可以看到它原本的 heading 确实不存在于 LCSH 里面，所以接下来的动作我们会用那个去查比较接近的，那您可以用刚刚的那个词直接去选前面的那一段字，亦或是您可以再更改它的一个字串，再重新查询一次。总之呢，就是选一个比较正确的去按 select 之后，它的动作就会这个之后就不会再有提示了。Yoel, please.
Thank you. Okay. So here's another example. Now I'm in another environment here. And in addition to doing the facets that we did before, we can also search for a specific title. So if I search here for academic libraries and training, so here's a title, Academic Libraries and Training. And again, it has bib headings found no matching authority records. And I've got one example with Mary Ruth Glagowski and another example with Alicia Chen. And if we go look at this one and we say edit, we'll see somebody made an error and by accident put 2 N's instead of 1 N for Alicia Chen. And if we do F3 here, we'll see that it doesn't match anything. There's Eric Chen with 2 N's and Evelyn and Kylie, but there's not with 1. If the user had done 1 N, then we see that there is an Alicia Chen. There's also an Alice Chen, by the way, a transportation planner. So, and if we take a look at this one, we can see if this is really the Alicia Chen we want, and we see that really is the one we want. So we can say select, and now we have the correct heading and it is matched. Go ahead, Alicia.
OK，他刚刚又换了另外一个环境。那他的第一个做法是，他直接在那上面直接做搜寻一本书的题名。那搜寻之后呢，找到2个跟这个题名吻合的记录之后呢，这2笔里面他选择其中一笔，按那个3个点点之后，再按下编辑。那会看到这个资料里面，确实他的那个700段的资料其实是有一个。作者是现在就这个地方，他刚刚其实是没有连接的，所以当然下一个动作就是按 F3啊，开始去找比较合适的一个作者的权威档案。那可以看到，就是其实他原本第一个查到的时候，他后来按 Alicia 在查的时候，其实有看到几笔比较不一样的。那你可以再把它点进去之后，再看哪一笔是你们要的，确定之后一样就是按选择就可以了。Yoel, please.
Okay. Now.Thank you, Alicia. Before we go on, I pointed out at the beginning that every institution may see slightly different lists. Let me get out of here. Slightly different lists of what appears in the authority control task list. When we go here, I have 2 different institutions here. And this has all of these reports, and this one has the same reports. Authority control task list and these reports. Now, it may be that in my institution, I don't want to see, for example, these 2, GND, AUT record partial redirection, AUT record to be deleted, because the GND is from a German national database of authority records, and I don't want to have them appear there. So now we're going to show how each institution can determine on their own which report types appear in the list. Go ahead, Alicia.
我们刚刚有看到，就是有提到，就是每一个机都看到的这个报告会不太一样。那这边的举的一个例子就是说，可能你们并不需要看到 GND， 因为 GND 是德国国图在用的一个权威资料。那如果你们不需要的话，其实是可以不用放在这。那等一下他就会展示说要如何让哪些报告可以显示在我们的任务清单里面。Yoel, please.
Okay.So it's in this presentation. Now, usually I don't like to show the presentations, but let's take a look. It says clearly here, it is possible to define which report types will appear in the authority control task list. So let's do that. We're going to remove, in this environment, Alma University for the ones that begin with GND, we're going to remove them. So we'll go to the configuration menu. On the bottom left, I clicked configuration, then to resources, and then to, sorry about that, resources, and task list, authority task list types. Right here, I'm 3rd from the bottom on the right column, authority control task list types. I'll click that, and this GNDs here, line number 9 and 10, I'll make these non-active. Customize, not active. Same thing here, customize, not active, save it, back to the Alma menu. On the bottom left, I'm going back to the Alma menu. And resources, authority control task list, and no more GND. So that's how we remove tasks, report types from the authority control task list. Is that clear, Alicia, or should I do it one more time before you translate?
I think it's quite clear.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you。那我们这边会展示，刚刚有展示的是如何去把一些报告类型从我们现有的环境去移除掉。那大家后续都可以参考我们投影片上有做说明。那我们现在范例就是要把GND 的这个东西移除掉。首先您要直接您可以直接从 resource 就资源那边再到 also 权威控制任务清单的类型，直接进去之后，你就会看到它大概有哪几种任务清单可以去做点选。那刚刚有展示的就是选择我们不要的，按那个3个点之后，按客制化 customize， 那再去把它直接停用。停用之后要记得按储存，按完储存之后，请大家再回到 Alma 的这个选单上面，再回到我们的，再透过点选 resource cataloging 跟 authority control test list 的这样的一个动作，再来确定一下。那确定刚刚它移掉之后，这边就再也看不到了。以上是刚刚Yoel的动作。Yoel, please.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to put back the GND just so I have a clean system here. And then we're going to go on. I'll make this one active and I'll make this one active. Okay, and save. Let's talk about another one. Bib heading found multiple matching AUT headings. Let's take a look. I'm going back to the Alma menu. And we'll say bib heading found multiple matching AUT headings. This one here that says in the parentheses at the end, ambiguous. And let's read about that here to see what it says in the online help. So, AMBIG. Okay. This issue may occur as a result of times, for example, when the Library of Congress splits one subject heading into 2 subject headings, such as nurses and nurses is split into nurses and nursing. So there was one authority record. Library of Congress came along and split it into 2 separate authority headings. It used to be called nurses and nursing. Now it's called nurses or nursing. That's one example. And we're going to see more. There's more of an explanation here also. Down in our whole list here, found multiple attempts to find a link between a heading in the bibliographic record and an authority record. In some cases, multiple matches are found. Okay, Alicia, do you want to translate now, or would it be better if I first showed an example and then you translated?
I can translate the first example now.
Okay, go ahead.
我们现在接下来要展示的这个范例是书目标目找到很多重的一个权威档的一个标目这样子。那刚刚上面那个我先解释一下，他说有一个情况可能是因为 LC 那边把一个标目，比如说原本是 nurse and nursing， 它原本是一个，但后来他把它拆成变2个，一个叫 nurse， 另外一个叫 nursing， 这是一种情况。Yoel, can you continue explaining this one?
Yes, okay. So let's take a look at an example, and I think that'll be easier.
Okay.
So let's say we want LC names. I'm going to do some facets here. Top left, I'll facet by LC names. And then I'll say I want only LC names that are in a certain field. Let's first of all get not linked to the community zone. And I'll get only those that are in a field 100. So on the top left, I'm doing another facet. And then I'll do a filter here by linked inventory type all, and I'll say I want only those with linked inventory type physical. Okay. And let's say I want only the vocabulary okay. If you notice, I'm going to point something out on the side here, Alicia. Right now I have several facets here. I have link to community, no. I have LC names. If I change now the linked inventory type, the facets go away. So first you do what's on the screen here, and then the facets. Okay, let me go on. So we're saying LC names, not linked to the community zone, field 100. And let's see, we have here Michael Carr and Sam Coley. Let's look at those examples. We'll say edit. And here we have Michael Carr. It's bringing us right to the list of F3. And we see there's a lot of different Michael Carrs. So they cataloged a Michael Carr without a date. And Alma is coming and saying, perhaps you should go and choose the actual Michael Carr that you want because there are so many different Michael Carrs. I'm going to do another one and then we'll stop for translation. Do I want to save this? No. Here's another one. I just said no. Okay. Are you sure? Yes. Okay. Let's take another example. Sam Coley. We'll say edit. And note, it's not bringing us now to a bibliographic record. It's bringing us to the F3 list. So we see again, there's several Sam Coleys. Now, technically speaking, I know this is a long one, Alicia, excuse me.
Yeah.
But technically speaking, there should not be two Sam Coleys like this, both of them Library of Congress. But that's what Library of Congress did. They have a Sam Coley here as a preferred term. And then they have another one here. I'm looking at the second one. Another one, again, as a preferred term. This one says law students. And the first one says Adelaide, Australia, writer, male. So Alma can't know which Sam Coley the cataloger meant. It's ambiguous, and therefore the user is alerted that he should go check it. Okay, Alicia, I know that was a long one. Excuse me. Go ahead.
Just one quick question. So for this kind of ambiguous linking, well, this kind of authority, it will go straight to the F3 list.
That's correct.
Okay, only for this. Okay, thank you. 不好意思，我刚刚有点长。那原则上，Yoel在做的是第二种范例，什么时候会发生呢？就是说，他刚刚先做一个查询，我们先把我们的资源限制为纸本，那我们去查 LC names， 那不要连接到 community zone， 那我们要查的是100栏的栏位。那查到这样的结果之后，他刚做了2个案例，以第一个来讲的话，其实他可能查进去之后，他会直接到他 F3 的结果，就在这种情境之下，他会直接到 F3 的那个查询结果，因为我们就是要找我们正确的那个权威嘛。所以像第一个案例是因为我们查进去之后，那个名字 Michael Carr 其实有很多笔，那后面有很多不同的年代，我们必须要去选哪一个 Michael Carr 才是我这个资料要的 Michael Carr。那第二个案例也就是他现在停留着这个画面，那这一个就更复杂了，因为它有2个名字一模一样，都叫 Sam Coley。那以这2个状况来讲的话，是因为我们拿到的资料本身就会有2个，所以你们必须要点选进去看一下这个资料本身。那你这资料本身点进去之后，就会看到这个 Sam Coley 都是惯用词汇。那其中有一个他是可能是一个法学的学生，另外一个是作家。那可能现在在这个环境的编目的人员就要去决定说，我现在这一本书所要用的 Sam Coley 是哪一个？那请大家做一个选择，这样。Yoel, please.
Okay, great. Thank you, Alicia.
Welcome.
So let's move on to another one. Amy Chow, are there any questions or comments from anybody so far?
Yes, there is one question. So this was referring, do you want to take it now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so let's hope I translated this correctly. So the question refers to when you showed how to remove the GND in the settings. So the question asks, if you made the GND inactive, will it also automatically be removed from the subject heading field in the bib record?
No. When we go to configuration and to resources and we change which authority control task list types appear in the list, this does not in any way affect bibliographic records. That's an important point. I'm going to put it in writing just to make sure everything is clear. I'm going to say here, add this, and I'm going to say removing report types does Control B, Control U does not affect the bibliographic records. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Should I translate? I think this is very clear.
Yeah, go ahead. We'd like to hear you translate.
OK， 我们有收到一个问题，就是说删除权威标目的 GND 之后，书目里的 GND 的主题标目栏位也会自动删除吗？那答案是不会的，我们不会碰到资料的本身，我们只是去那个显示那个报表的部分会把它拿掉而已，所以它也同步更新了我们的使用手册。谢谢这个问题。Yoel, please.
Okay. Amy, are there any other questions?
Nope, that's it for now.
Okay, so let's go on now and we'll start showing some more types of reports. Okay, there are also cases where an authority record gets deleted and then we need to take care of it. So let's go back here, back to the Alma menu. On the bottom left, I'm clicking Alma menu. And we'll do for a report type, resources, authority control task list. And the one we're going to choose now is called, let's go get it here. Deleted. AUT record deleted. We don't want to use the GND because I know nobody there uses GND. So let's not do the deleted because the deleted is for the GND and we don't want it. Okay.
How about the first one? How about the first one?
Unlinked bib heading. Okay. Okay. So again, we see all of my previous filters got removed. So we'll filter again, or we can even take one from right here. So this says Briseis legendary character. It's a Library of Congress subject heading in the 650. Let's go look at the record. Now it's going to bring us right to the actual record. Okay, we're in the record, and it gives this green. And let's take a look. It's not linked. It used to be linked and got unlinked. Usually when it gets unlinked, it means the authority record has changed. If we do F3 here for Briseis legendary character, it's going to come look in the Library of Congress subject headings. And like we see here, there is no Briseis, B-R-I-S-E-I-S. So the institution can decide how they want to handle this. But they should not have this in a 650 with second indicator 0. Now, this is different than the one where we had Alicia Chen with 2 N's and it didn't match. And we had another one where there were 2 different authors with the same name. Here, it used to be matched, and then it unmatched. Let's read about it here. We'll say cancel, and we'll go out of here. Do you want to save? No. Do you want to release? Yes. Okay, so let's read about this report type to see AUT record deleted, unlinked bib heading. AUT record deleted. This option references authority records that have been deleted, and manual handling may be needed. So the authority record used to exist, but it got deleted. Now I just want to see something here. One moment, I got to get back up here. Okay. Here. This Briseis legendary character, it used to have an authority record here, authorities. There used to be an authority record with that in the community zone that said Briseis legendary character. Library of Congress deleted it, and now it's no longer linked. There is no Briseis legendary character, but this one you see is a different authority. This is fast. This Briseis legendary character is NLI. There is no Briseis legendary character that's not deleted for Library of Congress. I'm going to say here subject. I'm in the community zone, which is where it's looking to link. And there's only fast and NLI. There is no Library of Congress subject heading. So it got unlinked. Go ahead, Alicia.
Okay. Where were we? Okay. 所以刚刚我们在做的另外一个就是我们要把连结拿掉。其实它刚刚动作有点长啊。那它的意思是说，我们回到 Alma 的画面之后，我们到 Authority Control Task List 的时候，我们去查一下我们要unlink 的这个记录里面有哪一些。那我们刚刚看到其实还蛮多的，所以他就选了其中一个，第一个的资料。那他选了之后，就一样是按编辑进去做，找到绿色被就是标示为不同颜色的这一个栏位，去查了一下它的650栏，确实是有一个0的指示符，代表它其实应该有LCSH 的一个资料，但是没有。那他去查了一下 F3 结果也没有，所以其实我们这个动作呢，这代表就是说这一个资料可能是曾经存在一个连结的，但是后来可能因为他拿掉或什么任何原因，他资料已经不见了，所以其实已经没有连结的没有一个记录可以连结。那他刚刚又多做了一个动作，他可能就到了我们的，他就去查询了一下我们的权威档里面，在 Community Zone 其实也曾经有过这样的一个记录。在不同的词汇表里面，包含现在你停留这个画面 FASD、NLI 这些都曾经有过可以连接的一个权威记录，这样。Yoel, please.
Okay. Let's look at one more example here. So we'll go back to resources, authority control task list. Okay, so let's not take something about massacres. So here's names. Let's take Jim Lewis here, or better yet, Yayoi Agawa. So it says here, the authority record was deleted. The bib record has got unlinked. And here it is in green. Now, it looks like it now got relinked. The original one was unlinked, and then it got relinked. If we look here, we'll see there's usually an indicator here. Yes, perfect. It says here, formerly on undifferentiated name record this. So it was on a different bibliographic record. It was linked to a different authority record, which was this one. That one was deleted, and then it got linked to this one here. So it got removed from one and linked to another one. And it says that right inside here. Go ahead, Alicia. Then I want to see if there's questions. Then we got to move towards finishing up because we got still a lot to show. Go ahead. You want me to explain that again, Alicia?
Yes, so this one was unlinked from the previous authority record. So we have to link to a new one, right?
Right. It was formerly on this one, which got deleted.
So we have to link it again. Okay, got it. Thank you. 现在我们是在查的是另外一个范例。那这个人名的状况呢，是他之前连的是之前的一个名字，之前的一个 authority record。那后来他做了一些修改，所以我们必须要连到新的一笔记录。所以他就在这边有一个记录，就是说之前是连到另外一个，现在要连到新的这样子。
Okay. Now. Did a question come in? I saw someone named Jessica Chen sent in a question.
Yes, there's a question.
Okay.
Do you want to
copy one of the questions came in English even. Let me read. Does this relink action based on the text in subfield A? Yes. All of the linking, when it gets relinked, unlinked, everything is based on the text in subfield A, not on the text when it's a subject. It's not on the text in X, Y, and Z. And by the way, speaking of whether it's on subfield A or not subfield A, we added something fairly recently. If you look here, this says partially linked. And this is linked. Again, partially linked, you see in the parentheses, and this is linked. And it's also a slightly different icon. Now, if we look at Inner Mongolia, for example, the reason it's partially linked is because when there's a V, X, Y, and Z, the V, X, Y, and Z are not part of the Library of Congress authority record. That's the geographic subdivision, the historical subdivision, the general subdivision. So if I were to click here, for example, I'll see that it got linked to Inner Mongolia. Let that open up. Inner Mongolia is here. But you also see Inner Mongolia, China. It matched on the subfield A. The subfield V is not part of the authority record, and therefore it says partially matched, partially linked. Is that clear, Alicia, or should I say it again?
Can you show the question again on the screen? Because we don't see it.
You don't see my screen?
I don't see the question. The question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I will put the question onto the screen without the person's name, so it will be anonymous.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm going to paste it right here. Single spaced. There's the question.
This is the relink action based on text in subfield A. I remember the answer is yes, right?
Yes, the answer is yes. And then I show an example here. If you look, it's linking here on subfield A. It's not linking on this. And it's the same thing on this one here on Ogaya Yayo.
Okay. So the partially link is for VXYZ, correct?
Right. In the case of an author, there's a subfield D. The answer is yes.
Okay. Okay, I will try my best. 给我尽量翻了，但原则上就是刚刚有说，如果我们要重新连接这个权威的话，我们连的是在那个芬兰 A 的部分吗？答案是对的。那刚刚又进一步解释到，我们最近有一个新的一个算是最近新的 release 吧。Can you scroll up？ 我们一般望远镜是两个镜头嘛，两个镜头就代表是有连接的。但如果你看到只有一个镜头的，那代表就是说它只有部分有连接。那它是针对在芬兰，VXYZ 可能是地名或地方的这样子一个情况之下，它就只会有部分的连接。这个是他刚提到。但如果是作者的话，可能是针对芬兰 B 的状况。Yes, Yoel, please. I think I've tried to my best.
So we only have 11 minutes left. Let's talk about handling all of this authority control task list. So let's go back to the authority control task list.
Okay.
And I'm going to do it also here, authority control task list. So there's another section inside the all, which tells people, or tells the user that the heading has been updated. Now notice here, we have a larger list. I'm in the all tab. We have a larger list than the review tab. And let's take a look at preferred term correction, bib heading updated. Now, preferred term correction, every night there's jobs that run that I'm going to show that determine what happens with authority records. So I'm going to monitor jobs just to show something. And in the scheduling tab, we'll see in the repository section that there are two jobs which run every night. The first one links bib headings. If there's not already a link between a heading in the bib record and a heading in the authority record, this job will link them. And then another job runs preferred term correction if there's a non-preferred term in the bibliographic record, it changes it to the preferred term of the authority record. And this list here tells the user all of the cases where that happened. Now, Alicia, do you want to translate before I go show this?
Okay.
Go ahead.
我们刚刚就是通常我们都是在 review 那个审阅的视窗的页签他们去做事。那他刚刚点到 all 的这个视窗之后，他的那个报告的类型会稍微多一点点，包含就是我们的标目有哪一些已经被更新的这种报道清单。那比如说他刚刚给我们看的一个就是我们每一个晚上其实都会做一些更新，会做一些批次作业。那包含在惯用词的部分，我们每个晚上也会做一次的更新。所以他刚刚就到了那个 schedule， 然后 repository 下面里面去让我们看到，就是那是他更新的一些跟数目相关的作业这样。Yoel, please.
Okay, so here's two examples.
Sorry, Yoel. Do you want to address the questions? Because when you asked before, there was one more question that we didn't address.
Okay, let me just finish this train of thought that I'm in, and then we'll get the question.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So here's an example. It used to say Hobbs Valerie. Now it says Hobbs Valerie 1941 through. It used to say Drakensberg's Boys Choir without the apostrophe after the S. Now it says Drakensberg Boys Choir with the apostrophe after the S. Let's take a look at this one. It also, by the way, gives the identifier of the authority record. So I want to go into this one. Oh, it's a nice book too, the Book of Informatics. A topic we all like, informatics. Okay, so if I were to edit this record, let's take a look. There'll be an author here, which finishes with 1941 through here. And if we look here at the authority record, it's got the 1941 through. It updated to that. And if we say tools, sorry about that, tools, view versions, here's the previous version, and here's the current version. So it got updated according to the authority record, which also got updated. The authority record used to just say Hobbs Valerie. The authority record changed, so the bibliographic record changed as well. Go ahead, Alicia, and then Amy will take the questions.
所以刚刚我们在看这个报表的时候，我们就可以看到哪一些资料其实有被动到。那我们刚刚在原本的那个报告的清单里面就有看到，它原本的那个heading 可能是什么，跟新的是什么，都可以看到差异。所以Yoel找了其中的一个范本，然后再把它点进来之后呢，就看到就是你除了在刚刚那个报表上看进来之后，你也可以做一次的进一步的确认，就是我查了这一笔资料之后，那我看到它现在的这个 authority 的资料的那个是有1941年的这个讯息嘛，那我可以透过Tools 下面的 View Version 之后可以查看它前一个版本，那你可以看到前一个版本的确就是没有1941的这样的一个讯息在上面。Yoel, please.
Okay, Amy, you wanted to say the questions?
Yes, of course. So the two questions that came in are pretty much asking the same thing. So they're basically asking how do you undo or I guess cancel the linking to the wrong authority record? And if, for example, if it's two different people with the same name, but one is more famous and one is less famous, is there a need to create an authority record?
In order to choose a correct heading, if it's linked to a wrong one or it's not linked at all, it's not an automated process. It has to be a process through the thinking of the person. He has to do F3 and choose the correct one. For example, I assume they're referring to the ambiguous. When there's an ambiguous heading, there's no way a computer can know which heading was being referred to. Let's go take a look at one of those ambiguous ones. Here. Not the preferred term, link this one. When Alma doesn't know which one to link to, there's no, let's get a name here, LC names. There's no other choice except to go do some kind of investigation. This is Robert Smith that we looked at before. The institution needs to take a look at the book or whatever it is, the work, and use clues to figure out which Robert Smith are they talking about here. Is it this Robert Smith, this Robert Smith, this Robert Smith? There might even be two Robert Smiths born on the same day. In fact, there's two Robert Smiths here, 1689 to 1768. If it happens to be a book about the complete systems of optics, they would choose this one. Otherwise, they'd have to choose a different one. There's no automated way to do it.
I would like to further ask that. Actually, they are asking that if there is one Smith Robert, he is not famous at all, and we don't think he needed authority record for himself. In that case, they don't want to link. How would you suggest them to deal with the record?
They want to catalog Robert Smith and not have it get linked?
Because there might be someone with the same name. He's also named Robert Smith, but he is not. This new Robert Smith is not famous, and they don't think it is required for creating a new Robert Smith record for this new one.
Okay. If it's a subject, let's do two things. Let's go into the records. I see we're almost out of time, but okay. Okay. If it's a subject and they don't want it to link, they could make this a 4 which means that it's a local subject, not a Library of Congress subject, one they determine on their own. And we can see that, for example, here, for the source is not specified. Then it's going to be their own. It won't try to link to anything because for means source not specified. If it's a name, there's no way to have a name not go look for a vocabulary. However, what we didn't even get to, we got to start making these, Alicia, an hour and a half, I think, because we've never had enough time. Within the authority control task list, you can dismiss those, and that's what I want to get to now. Maybe we'll go a little over time if people have the time. But here, there's a whole section on editing tasks and process changes. And you can take all of the ones that you don't want to, sorry, I'm jumping around like that. Go here, okay. Let me go back. If all of these, which are, for example, LC names, and are ambiguous, or whatever they are, if you don't want them there anymore, you can say dismiss selected. I'll do it here. I'll say I want all of these ambiguous ones, report type ambiguous. And I'll just say dismiss all, and they're gone. So you can get them out of the authority control task list with the dismiss all. If it's a subject, you can use second indicator for. If it's a name, it's always going to look for a vocabulary, but you can remove it here from the authority control task list. Okay, and by the way, one other thing, all of the entries in the authority control task list stay there for 60 days, and then they're automatically deleted. I know that was a long one. Sorry, Alicia, go ahead.
刚刚大致上回了几个问题哦。首先，如果你是 subject 的话，如果不想连任何的东西，你可以把指标符改为4，那它就基本上不会去连任何的东西。那如果是名字的话，它就不会，它一定要去找一些词汇表。但你可以去 dismiss 掉它，这在投影片上也有写，他刚刚也有做一个动作，就是你去选择它，去 dismiss 掉它，这也是可以的。那另外他又再补充一点，就是说所有在这边的条目，所有的 entry， 它只会保留60天，如果你60天不处理，它也会自动的离开。I hope that is clear.
Well, tell everybody also, Alicia, that they have the link to the PowerPoint. I see it's already 9:02 local time. They have a link to the PowerPoint that I sent at the beginning and the online help here.
OK. 好，那我们刚刚的那个投影片的连结都有在我们的对话视窗上。那如果还有其他的问题的话，你可以还是可以再传给我们，然后我们后续再做回复。那个时间已经到了，这样。OK.
Okay. So thank you very much. And Alicia, also tell them if they would like to have a different topic, they can suggest a topic for these English-Chinese webinars.
OK. 那一样再次重申，就是如果大家有任何的建议，就是或者有任何的需求，希望我们谈特别的一个主题的话，也欢迎再跟我们的就是同仁们联系，说看你们想听什么，就是做中文跟英文同时翻译的这一块。那有任何意见都可以传给我们。那就谢谢大家。
Okay, thank you and have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, you all.
Bye.